As a creative, what do you do when your work is rejected? This video is my story about how it took me 4 rejections and 3 months to turn a rejected article into something that made 500 US dollars. Hello everyone, my name is Anangsha Alammyan and welcome back to my channel where we talk about books, productivity and writing on Medium. This is the story of my first published article of 2021 on Medium. This is the article that was published in my favorite publication called Better Humans. And I'm super excited because this is my first article to come out this year, and it's also a commissioned article. If you are familiar with Better Humans, this is a publication on Medium that is the largest repository of articles about self improvement. And they commission some articles and pay them a one time amount of $500. And my article was one of them. That's what makes me so happy and excited about it. But it took me 3 months to write this article, and I faced rejections from 4 places before I could finally convert it into the form that it's currently here. So let's talk about this story. This is a story about all the lessons that I learned when I was living alone. I was living alone for 2 years in a different city, in a different. I joined a new job. I was living alone there in a different apartment, and obviously everyone has a different journey. So mine was something that taught me a lot of lessons, and I compiled everything I learned in my journey of living alone into this article. And I wrote it for Better Humans because I feel that they were the best place for me to publish this article. And when I sent it to them, I had high hopes because it was literally everything that I learned in 2 years in one article. It's not just those 3,000 words that I wrote, but all the lessons that I learned, all the journal entries, all the photographs, everything I have combined to make one article. So it's like my work of 2 years in one article, and I had high hopes from this. But imagine my disappointment when this was rejected by the Better Humans editors. I received no explanation about why this was rejected, and I was heartbroken. I was so heartbroken that I didn't write anything for almost 2 weeks because I felt that I put in so much effort, but my article was rejected, and I was devastated. It's natural. If you are a creative, if you have ever faced rejection, you will know that rejection sucks. You just feel like this is the end of the world, like everything is all over and you won't ever be able to get up again. But thankfully, that's not true. I managed to get up, I managed to start writing again, but I didn't submit this article in any other place. I just kept it because it was so close to my heart. I didn't want to self publish it or send it to some other publication like Illumination that publishes almost everything that's submitted there. So I just waited. And after about 1 month, maybe I wrote this article in October. So in November, I think I sent it to the Ascent. Now, if you don't know, the Ascent is one of Medium's largest publication with over 100,000 followers, and they publish articles on self-improvement with a personal take on it. So I thought my article is about self-improvement and it also has my personal story. So it should be a good fit for Ascent. I sent it to them and they took 14 days to reply. I waited patiently, but on the 14th day, I got a note from the editor that my article was not a right fit for them. I was so shocked because I had written this keeping better humans in mind, and now I sent it to the Ascent, but they rejected it. I was so shocked. I just replied to the editor that, Hi Melissa, can you please tell me why this was rejected? What can I do to improve it? And she told me that my article was good, the core idea was good, but all the advice that I had provided was too generic. And they had already published content like this many times before. I thought that okay, fine, it's her personal opinion. So maybe I should send it to some other place. So that's why I sent it to Mind Cafe. So Mind Cafe articles are also mostly about personal development and self-improvement. So this article should be a good fit there. But the editor, Jordan, he also rejected this article saying that the ideas that I gave were too common or too generic. And I was shocked again. But I thought, fine, let's try for another publication. This time I sent it to Publishous. Publishous also writes a Publishous article about self-improvement. So I thought maybe they'll accept it. But the editor, Nicole, she also rejected it, saying that the advice was pretty common and pretty generic. And they had already published a lot of articles like this, and mine offered nothing new. After that, I had this whole existential crisis. I thought it took me 2 years to learn all these lessons, and everyone is saying they're generic, they are too common. Is there something wrong with me? Am I just too dumb that I don't know what is considered to be common knowledge? Why did it take me so long to learn these lessons? So I just sent a message to my mastermind group saying that I am having this existential crisis. Please help me out. Then my friend Eva Kaifenheim, she told me that yes, the advice might be generic, but even if even if some advice is really common, everyone knows it, the difference lies in the execution. Like you might know that, say, scrolling less of social media is good, but you're not able to do it. Or say, I know that I should read even more books, but I don't do it because I feel like I should do something else. So, yes, the advice might be generic, but not everyone can apply that advice. And I thought, yeah, that's a good take. Maybe whatever I was saying was common knowledge, but I wasn't applying it. So that made me feel a little better about myself. Then Jordan Gross, who is also the editor of Mind Cafe, he also offered me a different perspective on it. He told me that the subheadings, the section headers that I were using in the article, I could rework them. If I could present them in some other way, maybe my article would be even better. And also, rather than the tone of that, yeah, I was living alone and this is what I learned, rather than adopting that tone, maybe I could adopt this tone that, yes, I know this advice is generic, but still I couldn't follow it. And if you are also struggling with the same, here's what you can do. So after listening to Jordan and Eva, I retyped my whole article. I reworked it and I adopted this tone that, yeah, I was struggling alone and I didn't know what to do, and this is what I learned. And even though I know this is common advice, I couldn't apply it. And I wrote the whole article again. And I also reformatted my section headers. So I'll give you some examples. So one of the advice that I wrote about in the article was read more books. This sounds generic, but I changed it to get on an idea diet. So this is something I'm pretty proud of. I think you can say tell that from my expression. So when I wrote that, get on an idea diet, this sounds a little more interesting than just saying read more books, because everyone knows we should read more books, but that's just common advice, right? So I wrote about it that books give us great ideas, and it's like feeding our head, filling our mind with ideas and giving us a different perspective. And that was one of the changes that I made. Another change was, I wrote about journaling, that you should write whatever you're feeling. And my initial heading was maintain a journal daily. But after editing, I just changed this section header to write it out for the right emotions. And another point was about how you should exercise more. But again, this is also very common advice, exercise more. Everybody knows we should exercise more. So I just changed that exercise more to the joy is in the motion. So it was the same idea, the same concept, but my way of presenting it was different. And I think that's what made the difference. So when after I made all these changes, I sent it again to Better Humans. It took me a long time. I first wrote this article in October, it was rejected. Then I sent it to 4 other publications, even they rejected it. And then I sent this to Better Humans again in the early part of December 2020. And I was prepared for a rejection because this was already rejected once, and probably they didn't like the idea of this article about the lessons you learn from living alone. So I was prepared for a rejection. But imagine my happiness when I got an email from the editors of Better Humans that this article was accepted. after that, I was so happy. I went to my mastermind group and I told Jordan and Eva and everybody else, because everyone had helped me make this article better. Itzi, Charmaine, Sira, all of them had helped me a lot in making this article even better. So I just went there and I gave my heartfelt thanks to them, that it's only because of you that I had the patience to rework this article and submit it again to Better Humans. And literally that was the highlight of my entire week, because this article is so close to my heart. I would have been really sad if I just sent it to some generic publication, or if I just published it on my own profile. And Better Humans is one of the most respected places on Medium, or shall I say, it's one of the hardest to get in places on Medium. And I'm so happy that my story found a home in that amazing publication. And so, yeah, that is the story of how I went through 4 rejections over a period of 3 months to finally get my article accepted into Better Humans, and how it made $500. And if you ever have to tell a story of why rejection is good for you, then this should be your example. Or shall I say, this could be your example. Because if I had just, given up and submitted this story to, say, Illumination or the Innovation, then I would have got maybe $5 or $10 from this story. But now I got $500. And if Ascent or Mind Cafe or Publishous had accepted this article, even then I would have made probably $20 or $30 from the entire article. But now, because I had the perseverance, because I had the dogged determination to not give up, because of that, I made $500 in place of just $30. And I'm so happy that I stuck through it. And if you are looking for some lessons or some key takeaways from this video, let me just lay them out for you. First of all, like Jordan Gross always tells me, there is no rejection for the creative. Rejection only means redirection. So whenever you're rejected, just direct your efforts to some other place, or work on yourself even more, so that the people who rejected you, they have no option but to accept your article again. So it's like keep working, don't give up, don't get demotivated. Sometimes rejection can be good for you, because it can open up different doors for you that you didn't even know existed before. And another thing is, you should never give up on yourself. Because if I didn't believe in my story, I wouldn't have stuck on for so long. I would have just self-published the article. But because I knew this story had power to help other people, to motivate other people to be even better, that is why I stuck on it for so long. So you should believe in yourself even if no one else does, because it's very important that you love and you respect your own opinions. So, yeah, that is the lessons that I learned from this article and this huge epic journey over 3 months. And I'm so happy that I stuck on to it, because the results have been totally worth it. Better Humans is one of my favorite publications, and I'm super honored and super happy that my first article of this year was published with them. So that's all. I'm going to leave the link of this article in the description so you can check it out. And if you have any queries or if you have any suggestions regarding my next videos, please let me know. I will see you again soon with the next video. And since this is my first video of this year, I wish you all a very, very, very happy new year. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me along this journey, for listening to my stories, and for supporting me and helping me grow. You guys are the best. I wish you a very fulfilling and very productive 2021.